I awakened to discover the home completely barren. My mother had sold off my belongings and left for a journey. He stated, "Your sister truly merits Paris, my son." I simply managed to grin. Precisely 2 weeks later, they both returned. I had orchestrated a far greater present in her honor. The instant she glimpsed it, she fell utterly silent. My entire life, I was the family's ATM, their invisible support. But what would you do if you came home one night, after working your absolute hardest, only to find your entire house emptied out? And the people who did it? Your own parents. All for your golden sister. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. My name's Griffin. I'm 28. I'm a videographer, the oldest kid, and I guess, the family's resident tech expert and accountant. That basically means I'm the one they call when something needs to be filmed for free, moved for free, or, paid for just this once. I rent this little house on the edge of town, got a lemon tree out back, and a mailbox that just leans. Like it seemed too much bad news. I keep my gear organized. I keep my head down. And I always kept the peace. Then there's my sister, Sloane. She's the golden one. Always has been. Charming, quick with a joke, the type who gets a flat tire and somehow ends up with 2 guys changing it for her while she's busy posting about angel energy on her story. In every family photo, she's center stage. In every conversation, she's always on the cusp of something huge. A music degree, a fashion internship, a content creator residency. The money for those always, came from somewhere. Usually me. I grew up learning to be useful. If Dad said, "Griff, get the ladder," I had it before he even finished the sentence. If Mom said, "Griff, be a sweetheart and cover this," my debit card was already out. I genuinely thought that was normal. I thought you just absorb the sharp parts of life and keep going. Then, 2 weeks ago, everything shattered. I pulled into my driveway after a brutal 14-hour wedding shoot. It was nearly midnight, totally drained. The porch light was on. The lemon tree smelled fresh and clean. I unlocked the door, stepped inside, and just froze. The house was empty. My couch? Gone. The IKEA bookshelves I'd painstakingly assembled at 2 a.m.? Gone. My bed, my coffee table, the thrifted rug I loved, the TV I'd paid off in 6 installments, all of it. Gone. Even the cheap salt lamp Sloane once called Vibe Glue disappeared. The only thing left was a single, stark white note on the kitchen counter, written in my mother's careful, looping cursive. "Don't be upset. We sold what you weren't using. It's all for Sloane's Paris program. You can sleep at Grandma's for now. Love you." I read it twice. My eyes scanned the words, hoping they'd rearrange themselves into something sane, something that made sense. They didn't. Then my phone buzzed. It was Dad. "Son," he said, his voice warm, like this was just a friendly catch-up. "Your sister deserves Paris." I stared at the pale square on the counter where my microwave used to sit, a ghost outline in the dust. "Don't worry about furniture," he added, like he was doing me a favor. "It's material. Paris is character." I leaned against a bare wall. I tried to laugh. Nothing came out. The house echoed. "Okay," I said. "Just that. Calm. Even. Like a cameraman steadying a shot." After the call, I stood in the middle of my empty living room and listened to the silence. Somewhere, a dog barked. A car passed. I looked at the note again. Then, with a strange, chilling clarity, I opened my gear case. I checked every camera, every lens, counted batteries like a prayer, and zipped it shut. I slept on the floor that night, a hoodie as a pillow, my jacket draped over me. It was cold. Flat. The lemon tree thumped against the window in the wind. At 4 in the morning, I stopped pretending to sleep. I started writing. Dates. Amounts. Names. If you want to understand why a grown man slept on his floor instead of absolutely exploding on the phone at midnight, you need the prequel. I've always been the background brother. Useful. Reliable. Unremarkable in a way that made people feel safe asking for things. When we were kids, Sloane got the main stage. Recitals, pageants, birthday parties with themes, rented ponies. My birthdays were pizza, paper plates, and Dad's same old joke about another year, another lens cap. I learned young that the camera points where the light already is. I learned to adjust. At 18, I bought my first DSLR with money from editing local commercials. Mom said, "You're lucky you don't need college." Dad added, "If it doesn't work out, trade school." When it did work out, slowly, then suddenly, nobody said much. I shot softball highlights for $20. I cut together church videos for exposure. I filmed my uncle's second wedding for free, because family. I didn't mind. I liked the work. And the work, quietly, liked me back. Money was always this fog in our house. "We're comfortable," Dad would say, patting his belly like it was a bank. Then he'd ask me to spot the electric bill just this month. Mom liked nice things. She called them investments in beauty. Hair, nails, a vase that cost the same as a month of my groceries. Sloane didn't even have to ask. Her needs were just woven into the family schedule. If she needed a phone upgrade, somehow mine became due first, and "We'll give yours to her, and you take the promo deal." If she needed a dress, my card accidentally covered it because "Your account is linked to the family Amazon from when you were in high school. Griffin, just dispute it later. I never did. I used to think keeping peace was love. You don't make waves, because waves drown people. You learn to be flat water. But the numbers started piling up like sandbags. 2 years ago, $1,200 to fix Sloane's bumper because she tapped a fire hydrant. 18 months ago, $612 for her textbook bundle. Money I sent at 1 a.m. and pretended not to notice I skipped rent late fees to do it. A year ago, $6,842 to clear a card she'd co-signed with Mom for points, and then forgot to pay. Last fall, $89 each month for her line on my phone plan, because she needed faster data to upload reels. And then there were the small things. The ones you don't count because they're small, until they're not. Griff, can you cover gas? I'm literally at the light, she'd text. Apple Pay. Griff, can you grab groceries? I'm meal prepping. Venmo. Griff, we need your camera for a week. It's an emergency. It always was. Emergencies, I swear, follow the golden child like glitter. They shine, and then they stick to everyone else. I kept working. I built a tiny, real business. Word of mouth. Repeat clients. A nonprofit that trusted me with their yearly fundraising film. A wedding venue that recommended me. 3 solid corporate clients who liked that I made things look expensive without actually being expensive. I bought my little rental house because a friend of a friend needed a responsible tenant who wouldn't throw parties or poke holes in drywall. I signed. I paid on time. I planted that lemon tree. The day the furniture disappeared, I'd been shooting a wedding where the bride cried when her dad read a note he'd saved from when she was 5. My cameras ate emotion all day. I went home drained and happy. Then I walked into a shell. Mom's note said, "We sold what you weren't using." That part, that did something ugly in my stomach. Because I'd picked every single piece of furniture. Myself in the past 2 years. I used the couch. I used the damn bed. I just never invited them over. I didn't flash it. Maybe that was the problem. If you don't perform your life for certain people, they'll edit it for you. At 6 a.m., I called my landlord. He sounded groggy and, frankly, horrified. "Your mother said you were moving out," he stammered. "She brought a woman who runs those estate sales, very fast." I thought, very fast indeed. "I'm so sorry, Griffin. I thought you told her to handle it." He kept apologizing. I told him it wasn't his fault. Then I called the number taped to the bottom of the note. Circle and Key Estate Liquidation. Compassionate downsizing. The woman said, "We collected $3,400 after fees. It went to your mother's card." Compassion, I thought, a bitter taste in my mouth. I texted Mom. "You sold my bed." She sent a heart emoji. "You'll understand when you have children." At noon, Dad called from the airport. He sounded proud. "First time in Paris," he said. "Your sister cried at the Eiffel Tower. She's finally getting what she deserves." "What she deserves?" I asked, my voice flat. "To feel special," he said. I looked around at my empty floor. "Also," he added, gently, "stop being dramatic about furniture. We'll throw you a housewarming when you get a new place. Maybe you'll meet a nice girl who likes minimalism." He laughed at his own joke. "Okay," I said again. I don't know why. Maybe arguing with a man already in Paris about the bed he helped sell is like yelling at a plane. That night, I took my camera to my grandmother's empty den and edited on the floor, a blanket under me. I made a list labeled "What I Pay For," "Ongoing," and another labeled "One Times." I wrote down dates, amounts, screenshots of transfers, bank lines highlighted, and every single time I'd said, yes, and didn't even get a thank you. I printed some pages at the library because my printer was gone. On day 3, Mom sent photos. Sloane under a stone arch, Sloane holding a pastry. The caption, "Paris is for dreamers." On day 5, my uncle texted, "Your mom says you're being difficult. Be nice. It's only money." He added a winking face and a thumbs up, like we were in on some hilarious joke. On day 8, Sloane posted a reel of her spinning in a dress on a balcony, Rihanna playing in the background. The caption, "We get one life." On day 10, Mom finally mentioned what had happened. "Did you know your couch had a tear?" she wrote. The buyers barely noticed. That was a blessing. I read it twice. I almost replied, "I noticed." It was my couch. On day 11, I opened my savings and stared at the number. I could buy a new bed. I could buy 10. But I didn't want to patch a hole while the ceiling still leaked. The furniture wasn't the problem. The problem was the story we all kept telling. That I was a resource to be tapped. That Sloane's glitter was everyone's job to fund. That my yes would stay automatic forever. On day 12, Mom called from a museum gift shop. "Listen," she said, breathless. "Sloane's program is more than we thought. The housing upgrade is another $2,600, but it's really safer. And there's a media lab she can use." I told her you'd be thrilled to help. "You work in media. It's like synergy." "Mom," I said, a stone in my gut. She lowered her voice. "Don't be petty." There it was. The word that gets used on kids like me when we stop absorbing. Petty, as if boundaries are a tantrum. "I'll talk to you when you're back," I said. "Griffin," she said, suddenly sharp. "We're on a different continent, and I'm doing everything I can for your sister's future. Try meeting me halfway." "Okay," I said, because the halfway she wanted was my side of the line. On day 13, I went to the bank and closed the family emergency fund account I'd opened at 20. The teller asked if I wanted to explain why. No, I said. I think I finally understand why. On day 14, I unlocked the door to my empty living room. I set up 2 light stands, my smallest camera, and a lav mic. I titled the project on my laptop, Paris, Furniture, the Math. Then I made a second project with a different title. That one was for me. They landed on a Sunday. I know, because Mom's location shared itself with me again, like a boomerang. She forgets she re-enables it whenever she gets a new phone. JFK home. It said, a little airplane icon crawling across my screen. At 5 p.m., I got Dad's text. Family dinner. 6 sharp. Sloan has news. I put on a clean shirt, packed my laptop, and drove to the house I grew up in. The porch smelled like rosemary and furniture polish. The door was unlocked. Griffey. Mom cried from the kitchen. She hugged me in a way that said I was forgiven for a thing I hadn't confessed to. Paris was magical. Sloan is transformed. Sloan walked in with airport hair and a scarf tied like it was from a magazine. She kissed my cheek. Missed you, she said, like we'd just gone a week without coffee. We ate roast chicken. Dad told a story about a waiter who called him Monsieur, like it was a promotion. Sloan pulled out her phone to show me a video of a fountain. Then Mom clapped her hands. Okay, she said, beaming. We have something special to discuss. I reached into my backpack and set my laptop on the table. Me too, I said. Sloan giggled. You first. Sure, I said. I opened the first project. The title card read, What I Pay For. The first frame was a screenshot, my bank transfer to Mom. $6,842. Subject line, card payoff. I hit spacebar. The video played. Receipts. Dates. Little captions. My voice, calm, like a documentary I'd make for a client. April 4th, $612 for textbooks. April 29th, $89 phone line. May 13th, $1,200 bumper. June through December, $534 in miscellaneous Venmo. January, $340. Utilities you forgot were in my name. Mom laughed lightly. This is dramatic. I didn't look at her. I let the math keep going. February, $400 for program application fees. March, $3,400 estate sale proceeds from my furniture. Dad stopped cutting his chicken. The next frame was my empty living room. Then a clip of my landlord's voicemail, apologizing. I kept my hands flat on the table. Griffin, Mom said, her voice small now. We didn't think you'd take it personally. It's for my education, Sloan added. I paused the video and looked at my sister. I'm glad you had a good trip, I said. I really am. And I meant it. She looked sunlit and alive. But you sold my bed. She rolled her eyes, then caught herself. We can get you a better one, she said. When the brand deals start hitting, I'll pay you back so fast. Dad cleared his throat. Son, your sister deserves. This isn't about what she deserves, I said. I clicked to the second project. A new title card appeared. The gift. The living room TV across from the table lit up when I cast my screen. The first frame was a simple gray background and a line of text. Effective today, these are my boundaries. I'd recorded myself reading them because my voice stays steady in voiceover. The mic doesn't care if your hands shake. 1. I will not fund Sloan's programs, residencies, trips, or upgrades. 2. I am removing every family member from my phone plan. Lines transfer tonight at midnight. I've already paid the final balance. 3. I will not provide loans or cash fronts. If there is an emergency, call 911. Not me. 4. If you need me to film something, you will. Receive my rate card in writing. 5. The spare key to my house needs to be returned tonight. 6. Any item removed from my home without my consent will be reported as theft. Mom's face crumpled. Griffin, she whispered. You can't talk to your mother like you're a landlord. I'm talking to you like an adult, I said. Sloan tried to laugh. You're making a whole presentation. I nodded to the screen. The next frame showed a screenshot of a police report confirmation number. I hadn't filed it yet. Just the draft. I let that sit for a second. Then I clicked to the last slide. A photo of a simple, sturdy full-size bed frame and mattress, scheduled for delivery to my house today, 7 p.m. Paid by me. I turned to my sister. In front of me was a manila folder, her name on it. I pushed it across the table. What is this? She said. A budget, I said. For your life without my money. Inside was a prepaid month bus pass, a list of part-time jobs that matched her schedule, a checklist to move her number off my plan, and a printed letter I'd written, 10 sentences that were hard to write, and even harder to say. I watched her read, one hand lifting to her mouth. Dad stood up fast enough to rattle the glasses. You're punishing your sister for being talented. No, I said, standing too. I'm refusing to be stolen from again. He took a step toward me. Years of his height, years of his voice filling rooms. We did what we had to, he said. I kept my tone even. This isn't about revenge, I said. This is about closure. The room went quiet, like someone hit mute. Mom sank back down, tears blinking. We needed Paris, she said weakly. You needed a bed, I said. Sloan swallowed. Her eyes were bright, angry, then something else. She looked down at the folder again. I closed the laptop. I'll be at my place, I said. Text me when the key is ready. Don't walk out. Mom said, her voice breaking. I'm not walking away from you, I said. I'm walking back to me. I left my childhood home with my shoulders loose for the first time in years. In the driveway, the sky looked like a clean slate. My phone buzzed before I started the car. It was a single text from Sloan. Is that really my phone bill now? I typed back, yes. And then, for a long time, she said nothing at all. The first 24 hours were loud, in all the wrong ways. Mom called 17 times. Dad, 12. 2 aunts, 5 each. My uncle, who thinks sarcasm is leadership, left a voicemail. I guess we're doing spreadsheets now. By noon Monday, my call log looked like a slot machine stuck on the same 3 faces. I didn't answer. I went to my empty house, accepted the delivery guy's pity when they brought in the new bed, and made the mattress with clean sheets. Simple white. It looked like a truce. I set one lamp on a cardboard box and made coffee with a borrowed kettle. I filmed a small product video for a local brand because deadlines don't care about family drama. I just kept moving my hands. At 2 p.m., Sloan texted a screenshot of her phone plan transfer page and said, "It wants a PIN." I sent it. 10 minutes later, she wrote, "It says I need to pick a plan." I said yes. She didn't reply. An hour later, she wrote, "This is robbery." I said yep. At 6 p.m., Dad showed up on my porch without knocking. "Son," he said, stepping inside like I'd invited him. "You made your point. Return the spare key so we can stop this nonsense." He looked around at the new bed and the empty room. "You living like a monk now? That's not healthy." I held out my hand. "Key." He scoffed. "You think I carry it?" He patted his pockets. "Your mother has it. Tell her to bring it," I said. He stared at me for a second, like he was waiting for the old Griffin to conjure himself back. When he saw I wasn't flinching, he tried a different angle. "We raised you," he said low. "We put a roof over your head for 18 years. We didn't invoice you. You also didn't sell my bed," I said. His jaw tightened. "Sloan is a once-in-a-generation talent. She can also be a once-in-a-generation adult," I said. "It's not either/or." He shook his head, like I was speaking a language he didn't respect. "You used to be kind," he said. "I still am," I said. "I'm just not a doormat." He left. The door stuck the way it always does when it's humid. The lemon tree brushed the window. I let my breath out slow. That night, I moved my gear into the bedroom so I could lock the door if someone decided to borrow a lens. I cooked eggs on a camping stove in the kitchen. I wrote an email to my 3 best clients, explaining my temporary minimalist setup and offering them a small discount this week. My way of controlling one thing I could control. 2 replied within 10 minutes. "Take your time. We're not going anywhere." By Wednesday, the number of missed calls hit 74. Mom's text shifted from scolding to sentimental to strategic. "Family always forgives. Griffey, I miss your face. Can you please send $300? Sloan's card keeps declining for some reason." I replied, "No." She sent a long message about how embarrassing it was to get declined at a boutique near Notre Dame. I didn't point out that she was already home. I didn't say that embarrassment can teach you things kindness can't. I didn't say anything at all. On Thursday, my grandmother called. "I don't understand all this," she said, her voice papery. "But I do know beds are for sleeping and not selling. Your mother is stubborn like her mother. Give her a week. She'll bring the key. I love you." "I love you too," I said. "Also," she added, "I watched that video you made for the animal shelter. The sad pit bull made me cry and then donate. That's power. Use it for good." "I'm trying," I said. Friday came with work. I shot a small restaurant piece. I sat on the new bed that night and edited, my laptop warm against my legs, and felt almost normal. At 10:03 p.m., my phone lit up with a paragraph from Sloan. "I don't know how to do any of this," she wrote. "I signed up for the wrong plan and I can't figure out student housing and my bank says there's a hold and mom is crying and dad is yelling and I feel like I'm going to drown." I typed, then deleted 3 versions of a lecture. Finally, I wrote, "Start with one thing. Phone first. Go to the store. Ask questions. Pay your own bill. You can do it." She didn't reply that night. The next morning, she sent a photo from inside a phone store. She looked small. The caption, "This guy is helping." Half an hour later, "Okay, it's done." "Good," I wrote. Sunday, Mom texted, "Dinner. 6. Come home." I responded, "Bring the key." No answer. I went anyway. When I walked in, the dining table was set for 5. Dad at the head. Mom to his right. Sloan left. An empty spot. And a key. In the middle of my plate. Mom kept her eyes on the mashed potatoes. After grace, she cleared her throat. "I overstepped," she said, every word like pulling a nail. I should have asked. "That's true," I said. I kept my voice soft. Being right doesn't require volume. She looked up, like she was checking if I'd punish her. "I didn't think you'd mind," she said. "You always help." "I know," I said. "That's why I had to stop." Dad started to say something, but Sloan touched his sleeve. She looked at me. "I read the whole folder," she said. "I actually didn't know half those numbers." I didn't ask because I didn't want to know." "I know," I said. She pushed the key toward me. "I'm sorry," she said, not blinking. "For the bed." I took the key. It felt heavier than it should have. "Thank you," I said. Dad stabbed a carrot like it was personally responsible. "So what? We're just all accountants now," he muttered. "Maybe we've been everything but," I said. He rolled his eyes. "You think you're better than us because you can list things?" "I think I'm responsible for me." I said. And I'm done being responsible for you. We ate mostly in silence after that. No one asked about Paris. No one asked about work. Mom asked if I wanted leftovers. I said no. That felt like a metaphor. When I stood to leave, Mom reached for my arm. You won't disappear, she said. I'm not disappearing, I said. I'm picking what I carry. Back at my place, I put the key on my own counter and stared at it until my eyes blurred. I slept hard and dreamless. Monday morning, something new happened. I woke up before my alarm. I made coffee. I opened my calendar and saw open space where there used to be other people's urgency. I walked to the lemon tree and picked one small, bright fruit and put it on the windowsill, like proof that life still makes things. Then I did something I'd postponed for a year. I raised my rates. I sent the new sheet with a kind, clean email. My scope has expanded. My value has too. 2 clients said yes immediately. One said, we wondered when you'd do this. I bought a second lamp. I bought plates. I measured the living room and ordered a couch that didn't exist 6 months ago when all this started, and would arrive next week. This time, the couch would be mine. Because the key was mine. Because the decision was mine. In the middle of editing a food truck spot, my phone buzzed. Sloan, can I ask a really dumb question? She wrote. Always, I wrote back. How do I set up autopay without accidentally putting it on your card? I smiled. You can't, I wrote. That's the point. She sent a laughing emoji. Then I'm scared I'm going to mess up. You will, I wrote. Then you'll fix it. At 5 p.m., Mom sent a photo of a neatly made bed in what used to be my old room in their house. If you ever need to stay here, she wrote. Thank you. I wrote back. I have one. That night, I watched The Gift video again, not to rehearse the anger, but to check my voice. It was calm. It stayed calm. I closed the laptop and stood in the empty living room. And for the first time in a decade, the quiet didn't feel like a warning. It felt like a beginning. 2 weeks later, the couch arrived. I signed for it, sat down, and didn't fall through. I squeezed a soft lemon into water and let the afternoon slide by, phone face down. Mom texts less. Recipes, weather, dated memes. Dad hasn't apologized. He grunts hello. Asks about my little business. Nods. Sloan pays her phone bill. Got a camera store job. Applied for a real internship. Bills are just paper now. I set walls and found doors. Dinner Sunday at 6. I'll bring lemon pie and keep my keys in my pocket. What about you? Have you ever had to draw a line in the sand with family, even when it broke your heart? Tell me, what was your enough is enough moment? I really want to know your stories.